by John Hillary. He's chair of senior person in War on Want, and it's a pamphlet. It's not as big as it looks because I printed it on one side, even though I told my printer to print it double time. Anyway, the Transatlantic Trade Investment Partnership. If you Google John Hillary or War on Want and TTIP, you'll get it. It's got everything in it you would need to know, plus loads of references and further reading. In essence, TTIP stands for Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, and it's a free trade agreement between the US and the European Union. And it was launched in 2013, and they're hoping to conclude it by the end of 2014, although there's been some slippage. It says it's a free trade agreement, but it's not really about trade in the way, free trade in the way we think about it, like reducing the tariffs to stop, that might block imports. It's actually about reducing and eliminating regulations, and also about opening up the European public sector to American corporate investment. And the regulations it wants to get rid of are not what we might think of as silly red tape. They're fundamental regulations to protect us against dangerous chemicals, protect our food, that stop genetically modifying organisms being used in our foods. And America wants us to have GMO organisms without it being labelled on our foods, because that's what we have in America. 70% of food items in American supermarkets are GMO, but they're not labelled, so people don't even know. In America, they spray chicken carcasses with chlorine to to make them smell better. All of this stuff is banned in Europe. There are lots of dangerous chemicals and pesticides that are banned in Europe, and those regulations are ones that we want to get rid of, ones that protect us. Also regulations that protect our rights to data secrecy, that also control how banks behave, but most importantly, that open up our public sector services for their health and education to anybody that wants to come in and invest in. And what is worse, there's a thing called the Investor-State Dispute Settlement Clause. Now that ISDS is crucial. There are lots of free trade agreements around the world already. There's NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. There's also one between, it's a Trans-Pacific one between America and Pacific countries. So we've got examples already of how this ISDS works. Investor-State Dispute Settlement is a method by which foreign corporations, can sue sovereign governments for any legislation or any regulations that corporation thinks reduces their profits or could reduce their profits in the future.